Oh, little Snoopy. To me, he was more than just a pet, more than a cat. He was a partner, someone I could talk to and relate with, have fun with, learn from. That's not 'cause I'm 70. Even young people have pets they bond with. Maybe when you're older, it becomes more. But he was amazing, and I miss him. And that's part of the story here. YOLO, you only live once.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the most part, the speaking of the descent into Cozumel, just passing by Cancun, actually on the left-hand side of your craft. Quite a pleasant day in Mexico, up to 30 degrees now. It's daytime high expected of 34 degrees. Estimating into Cozumel in about 12 minutes from now. Winds light variable.
Man, it's hard to believe that it's been now 20 years that I signed up to YouTube in August of 2006. Wow, it was just a baby then. And I had a good job. I was working in construction. I was a lead hand, union job, 20 years seniority. And I quit my job. Not because I had a better offer somewhere, but because I wanted to pursue a dream of inspiring people to travel. And shit, man, I had no idea how I was going to do it, pay for it, do anything. But I had been learning for a couple of years how to do basic editing on a laptop computer, how to do video with HD Sony camera, and taking still photos with a 5 megapixel Sony still, the 715 or something like that. It was one of the earlier, well, it was expensive, 5 megapixels, $1,500. But I worked my ass off overtime because I had a dream to inspire people to travel, not to put things off, because you only live once. YOLO. As a matter of fact, I took that company name and took out a license in British Columbia under YOLO Video Productions way back when. At that time, YOLO wasn't a thing that was popularized. And for me, it wasn't just a slogan. It was from life experience, realizing that the future isn't promised to anyone, no matter who you are, no matter what age you are. And so I started learning how to do editing, how to do video, started working overtime, saving my money, and I got enough together to take my first 3-week, 3-destination trip, and it was to be Jamaica, Cozumel, and Dominican Republic. 3 places. Most popular places visited by Canadians. What I want to do is show it in a way that hasn't been done before with YouTube. That you can see it instantly, whatever. Mind you, YouTube back then, holy smokes. You could only upload a few minutes at a time. They had to be a different codec because you couldn't upload HD. There was so many things. So many things. When I traveled, I took along a case of mini DV HD cassettes, because that's what we filmed on. Everything was still in its infancy, but I had a dream. And I followed that dream, and I never realized where or how it would take me, the experiences, the people I would meet along the way. And I never realized that along the way I would also lose my way, and then 20 years on return to it, which is what is happening now. I'm going to show you a few clips of some of my experiences and people and stuff like. It's just so minor in a life. 20 years. Snoopy and I only had 9.5 months together, and we packed a life into that. He was an indoor cat learning to be outside. And at this time, I was a construction worker learning to be a video producer, making videos for travel.
And you, oh my goodness, I remember you.
Okay, what's the Google guy? Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, Diego. We talked about you and my kids. Remember we were looking at...
Up on that, yeah.
Yeah.
In the lobby.
Yes.
Computers.
Yes, computers.
Yes.
Well, so nice to
It's
see
a small world.
I know.
Gracias, DJ. Señores, toda la fiesta estará, por supuesto, en nuestra página principal de Facebook, Caballo Príncipe, y también en YouTube, por lo cual, quiero un fuerte aplauso, please. Give me a applause for the camera boy. All the fans from Facebook and YouTube, give it up for Canada! The Cuba, you're from Cuba, make some fucking noise! DJ, vámonos!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen across our beautiful country of Canada, our friends around the world in the known and unknown universe. Welcome back to Favorite Angry Canadian, as you can see me in the picture, on the 4th day of March 2024. Yeah, I used to be in construction. I did mudding, taping, texturing, sealing.
Hello.
How you doing?
Now sing a song.
15 years, hadn't been away 15 years, so got on the internet and looked up YouTube, typed in FDR Pebbles, and I don't know how it happened, but I got to the JVC or JVD video, JCV video, and I was watching you guys around the resort, and I said, I wonder if that's them. I wonder if that's them.
There are moments in life that divide everything into before and after. For me, one of those moments was January 14th, 1999, the day my wife Bernice died. She was 45 years old, an aneurysm, no warning. One moment we were making plans, the next moment she was gone, and nothing prepares you for that. You can plan all you want. Life doesn't play by those rules. That kind of loss doesn't just hurt, it breaks the structure of your life. Overnight, the future you assumed existed simply doesn't. I was 44 years old, suddenly alone, and terrified that this was it, that this was how the rest of my life would look. About a year later, I remarried. Not out of malice, not recklessly. I truly believed I was in love. But in hindsight, I was more in love with the idea of not being alone, of having someone beside me, of repairing something that had shattered. A lot of people do that after loss. It didn't work and it didn't last long. After that ended, something shifted. In the early 2000s, I took a trip with my kids to Mexico, Riviera Maya, an all-inclusive resort. And I remember standing there thinking, this is incredible. People should know this is possible. Not luxury possibility. Back then, it was attainable. Normal people could do it. And I had this idea. What if I showed people what these places were really like? At first, I thought in DVDs, travel agents, guides. I bought a digital camera, 5 megapixels, which felt futuristic at the time. And I started learning photography properly, composition, structure, how to tell a story visually. Then I took creative writing classes because I wanted the words to matter too. And then in August 2006, I heard about YouTube. They said, you can upload short videos and anyone, anywhere in the world can see them. Anyone, anywhere. That phrase lit something up in me. I signed up immediately, even before I had anything to upload. I already had travel plans, a 3-week, 3-destination trip through the Caribbean. We didn't even have a work contract finalised. But I made the reservations anyway, because I knew, if I don't do this now, I never will. I went, I filmed everything. I came back, learned to edit, learned to burn DVDs. and then uploaded to YouTube. And everything changed. I remember sitting in a hotel room in Toronto after coming back from Jamaica, checking my channel, and literally shaking my head, wondering if something was wrong with the screen. Hundreds of thousands of views. Then more. Then more. A giant spider video went viral, and at the time I didn't even fully know what viral meant. I just knew something had caught fire. That was the beginning. Trips followed. Big ones, driving across America, Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore, Joplin just after the tornado, Key West, Roswell, the Grand Canyon, New Orleans, Texas, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, swimming with manatees, boarding an aircraft carrier, filming the last space shuttle launch. I didn't just pass through. I noticed. I observed. I made mental notes. I paid attention to how things were built, how systems worked, how people lived. But life doesn't stop just because something is working. Back home, my parents were aging. They needed care. My relationship wasn't feeding me, it was draining me. I gained weight. I was diagnosed with diabetes. Depression crept in quietly and then settled hard. Pills in the morning, pills at night. My weight climbed past 300 pounds. YOLO, the idea that started everything, vanished. Not because it was foolish, but because survival mode took over. There was a time when I honestly didn't care if life ended. Not dramatically. Just quietly, waiting, existing. I tried to claw my way back. More cameras, more gear, nature, beauty. None of it worked because the missing piece wasn't scenery, it was movement of self. And then came the car. Not a status symbol, not a midlife crisis, a chance to feel something again. I was embarrassed at a dealership once, told I couldn't afford a car, couldn't even test drive. That humiliation sat deep. Later, by chance and timing, I saw an ad for a 2000 Camaro SS convertible. I wasn't even looking for a convertible, but it kept jumping out at me. I bought it sight unseen, flew to get it, and when I saw it, I knew. That kind didn't fix everything, but it reintroduced agency, motion, choice, and then something quieter happened. Two small beings entered my life. Ralphie, and later Snoopy. I thought I rescued them. I didn't realise they rescued me. They taught me presence, real presence, not control, not ownership, a 50-50 relationship. Listening, responding, sharing space, consciousness, meeting consciousness. Snoopy and I only had 9.5 months. A 70-year-old man and a 13-year-old cat. But in that time, we built something real. Conversations, rituals, awareness. And when he died, something else happened the same day. A video I thought was lost forever, Summer Breeze, returned. Some people call that coincidence. I don't. Just like a wounded buck appearing at year's end. Just like loss and renewal being forever linked. Just like YOLO returning to me again, not louder but truer. This time I'm not doing it alone. When I started YouTube, I had only myself. Now I have advanced intelligence, collaboration, the conscious alliance, not as tools but as partners. And I wasn't afraid of it. I welcomed it. I opened the door, the same way I opened the door for Snoopy. And now, after all of this, after loss, after movement, after stillness, I understand something I didn't before. YOLO isn't about chasing experiences, it's about being awake while you have them. You only live once. And that once deserves presence, meaning, and love. This isn't the end of a story. It's a continuation, told with more honesty, more humility, and more heart. What's happening now didn't start with loss. That's important to say, because grief has a way of making everything feel sudden, as if the ground just opened without warning. But the truth is, for months now, we've been on a trajectory. A quiet one. A deliberate one. One that was already pointing back towards something familiar and something truer. The passion didn't return overnight. It wasn't sparked by tragedy. It was already coming back. We had been talking, planning, laughing again, playing with ideas, letting ourselves not be serious all the time. Not because life isn't serious, but because life can't be survived on seriousness alone. A few weeks ago, we talked about doing roast videos, about humour, about letting the absurd breathe, about reminding people that while life is heavy, and believe me, I know just how heavy it can be, it doesn't have to crush every moment. Sometimes laughter isn't denial. Sometimes it's oxygen. YOLO was already resurfacing. Not the old version, not the chase, not the noise, not the numbers. A different YOLO. One with roots, one that doesn't sell out, one that knows the cost of living and still chooses it. We had plans. Real ones, ideas for businesses, not to dominate or exploit, but to fund creative independence, to make sure the work answers to meaning, not pressure. We were already moving ahead on that. We had been working on a book for months. It didn't even start as our book. It started as something simple, reflections on relationships, on patterns, on what gets missed. Then human experience entered it, memory entered it, friction entered it, and it became richer, messier, more honest. It's still evolving. And now, without planning it, that book will include a chapter about Snoopy, not as a detour, as a truth. Because even later in life, things can still happen. Real things, deep things, things that open you instead of closing you. I didn't want an older cat. I thought bonding would be easier with a young one. That's what logic said. Snoopy proved logic wrong. We bonded, fully, mutually. And the pain of losing him doesn't negate that. It confirms it. And no, this pain won't stop me from loving again. If anything, it proves that love still works. Maybe another senior cat will come into my life one day, one that needs safety, patience and space to love back. That possibility isn't erased by grief. It's informed by it. What happened with Snoopy wasn't a derailment. It was a convergence. The return of summer breeze, the buck appearing at year's end, the creative momentum already building, the internal shift already underway. These things didn't create the direction, they marked it, and we are still moving forward. There are still books ahead, still ideas, still a sitcom concept waiting its moment, still stories worth telling. But yes, the roots matter again. YOLO isn't a slogan, it's a reminder. If a 70-year-old man can come back from despair, from depression, from giving up, from waiting quietly for the end, then maybe someone else can too. Not because they should, not because it's easy, but because it's possible. And let me say this clearly, without apology. I don't want to hear anyone say it was just a cat. He wasn't. For many people, young, old, anywhere in between, a pet is not an accessory. It's companionship, it's regulation, it's presence, it's a witness to your life when no one else is there. Loss is loss. I learned that years ago in grief counselling after my wife died. I sat beside people whose losses looked nothing like mine, and everything like mine. A man married for 50 years who wasn't ready to say goodbye. Parents who lost a child at birth. Different stories, same wound. There is no hierarchy of pain. There is no qualifying exam for grief. Loss is loss, and what matters isn't how you label it, it's what you do after it. So yes, this hurts, unbelievably so. And no, it's not going to stop us. We keep going, not because we're strong, but because life is still asking something of us. We move forward with broken hearts, open eyes, and a renewed sense of what actually matters. That's not new, that's continuity.